with whatever they could find. Whatever. Sticks, pots and pans, anything. We'd play with anything. And the sun shone, and the rain fell, and little Johnny played, and all was well. Johnny's family got bigger. Johnny and his sister were joined by 10 younger stepbrothers and stepsisters. What a busy, noisy house. Can you imagine having 10 other brothers and sisters in your house? Anybody imagine that? It gets kind of busy and noisy. But Johnny would go outdoors when he needed quiet time. Sometimes he'd walk along the river. The squishy mud felt good under his feet. Have you ever walked in squishy mud and it's all in between your toes? It's so good. It's so nice, right? Johnny liked being outside. When he got older, he went to work in the apple orchards, just like his great-great-great-grandfather long before him. You see where this is going, don't you? Other times he would sit under a tree and read. How many of you like to read? I love to read. Johnny would watch the animals in the wild, the foxes playing in the meadows, the deer dashing through the woods, and the birds soaring high in the wide blue sky. If he found an injured animal, Johnny would take care of it until the creature was all well. We like it when animals get better, and then they get up and they can run and play in the woods again. And the sun shone, and the rain fell, and Johnny grew up, and all was well. Johnny learned everything about growing apples. He was happy planting seeds, taking care of the trees, and munching on the delicious fruit. You guys like apples? Nice. You ever bite into a nice juicy apple and it's all over your face? It's just so good. Make me want some apples. Anybody got some? Alright. Lots of people were moving out west back then. When Johnny was all grown up, he decided to go west too. Didn't bring much with him. For a hat, used his pot, and a burlap sack did fine for a shirt. And shoes? Who needs shoes when you got 2 feet? Johnny traveled the countryside. The sun kept him warm by day. The stars made a roof over his head at night. The rain washed him clean, and the animals kept him company. Sometimes Johnny would stop and plant apple seeds. As soon as the seedlings grew, he'd sell the small plants to families moving west. When they got to where they were going, the families planted Johnny's seedlings and grew trees of their own, so that they could have their own apples. The seasons passed. Every fall, Johnny gathered seeds from ripe apples. Every spring, he planted the seeds and passed the seedlings to settlers. He planted so many apple seeds that before long, people started to call him Johnny Appleseed. And the sun shone, and the rain fell, and the trees filled the land, and all was well. Year after year, Johnny tended his orchards, visited friends and family, and slept under the stars. Because of him, people always had fresh fruit to eat. Because of him, the land grew more beautiful. Johnny Appleseed left behind thousands and thousands of apple trees all across America. Just think, the next apple you eat may be from an orchard that was first planted by Johnny Appleseed. And the sun shone, and the rain fell, and Johnny's story lives on, and all is well. Thank you, guys.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Did y'all have y'all spinach today? That's what I would ask the children sometimes when I'm going out to the schools, and they're like, And I said, no, you woke up this morning. I said, you're a lot younger than I am. You got to have life. My name is Deborah Walker. I'm a nutrition educator with Clemson University Extension Service. Can I get 2 volunteers, 2 children to help me? Please. Thank you. This is my 5-year-old granddaughter, Taylor. Come around on this side. Which color would you like? Orange or?
You want some young ones?
Yes, but you're young at heart, right?
I'm sit down and let the young ones go.
Okay, I work all over Sumter County from 95 to 261, and that's a lot of area to cover. But I enjoy what I'm doing. I work with 3rd graders through adults. We did at one time work with the seniors. We lost our grant to work with the seniors, but we still inadvertently work with the seniors. Here you go. We're going to do a recipe today. I know you said, oh, that's too little for me. Hey, it'll work. It's covering the main part, right? What's your name? Alonda. What grade are you in?
6.
6. Y'all give Alonda and Taylor a hand, please. And for adults, anytime you have children around, incorporate them into the kitchen. Whether they're male or female, they need to know how to do. And what the first thing we do when we go in the kitchen is we do what? We wash our hands. But is there a sink in here?
No.
So why are we using that?
It's the next best thing.
Hello, did y'all hear that? Okay, if you don't have it in your car, or you don't have a little small version of it in the purse, you're handicapped. Because when you're going to a drive-in restaurant, they don't give you those little toilets anymore. And if you got children, especially, you know how they touch and they sneeze and whatever else. And so, you know, I encourage all of my parents, go ahead and use some of this. I encourage all of my parents to keep a bottle of that with them, or one of these, okay? It's called Wet Ones Antibacterial Hand Wipes, where you can keep under the seat. Also, they're good to have for just about anything, and it's covering that. And of course, this right here is for cleaning other things, not people, is the difference. And the reason I wanted to point that out, because I think with things going around, and this beginning to be winter, cold and flu season, and there's this germ going around called meningitis. Have y'all heard of it? And it seems to be spreading. And it's these little simple things that we can do to help and to teach our children about how to do it. Did you all get a recipe? This is new to me today too, because I've never did, before today I never did water salad. How many have ever made this before? The ingredients on that recipe, is that what you normally use?
No, it was a little bit different.
Look, and the thing about this is, I have another one that I got off of allrecipes.com. If you want to know about any recipes, it's a little different, but I work for Clemson University Extension, so I have to use our recipes. And we try to do it in a healthier way, and not saying that some of the other ones are not, but that's what we're trying to push. And in addition, it also has the nutrient values on that. Okay, for time-saving purposes, I have already pre-measured a lot of my ingredients. Okay, can you stand over here in the middle? And Taylor, I want you to hand them to her when I ask you to hand them to her. The first ingredients, it says, first of all, combine your celery, your apples, and your walnuts in a mixing bowl. So for time-saving purposes, and this is what we also teach our 4-H'ers when you're doing demonstrations. The reason that this is good is because when they get in college and they got to do public speaking, and they have to do a demonstration speech, they already have had experience in this. And so this is why at fairs and other state and local competitions, this is what we teach them to do. How you got to use glass things so that people can see what you're doing. And, you know, it's easier to have everything already pre-measured in there, but you're telling them what you're going to do. So that's the purpose we did it like we did it today. All right, it says, combine your celery, your apples, and your walnuts. For time-saving purposes, we have already cut up 4 apples. Notice that with this recipe, we're using the Granny Smith, which is green, and your red apples. What other color apples are there? Yellow. Very good. Can you add that in the doctor? Get it in the bowl, please. Very good. Okay, can you hand her the celery? Okay, how much celery does the recipe call for? Anybody know?
1 cup.
Huh? 1 cup. Okay, why do you think we're using this and this as opposed to using this on this glass dish? You can chip the glass. This is metal. And y'all may think that these little things I'm saying is stupid and silly, but if somebody chips the glass while they're handling things and you eat a piece of that glass or somebody else ate a piece of the glass with something you fixed, that's not a good idea. So this is also why we introduced them to what to use with what. Okay, so the wooden utensils or the rubber utensils is better to use on glass containers. Also, it calls for a cup of raisins. Do you put that in yours?
No.
What do you put in?
My mother always put apples and bananas and grated carrots, and she dressed it with mayonnaise, but I use orange.
Okay. Why did you put orange in it?
Because I should be eating mayonnaise.
Well, this is why this particular recipe, it called for yogurt as opposed to the mayonnaise, because most of the recipes with wardrobe salad call for mayonnaise, but we're finding how versatile different foods are, and yogurt is one of them. Yogurt is from what food group? From what food group? Dairy. Okay, the dairy. And it's a new food to a lot of people. I was surprised at how many people never tried yogurt. Okay, this is vanilla low-fat yogurt. But I want you to see how you can incorporate more dairy into your meals by including them like that. And there's another recipe we use, yogurt fruit crunch. It's just like the, what is that drink at, it's a drink that they have at McDonald's that they sell with the fruit, the yogurt, and some type of bran cereal. You can make them at home. A whole lot cheaper than buying them there if you got more than one child. Raisins is a cross between raisins and what? Cranberries. Okay? The reason why this is another good thing we're introducing people to is because they never tried them. You can eat them just like they are. They're dried fruit. And this is good also for people that have a problem with constipation. It gives us fiber. And that's another reason why we left the skin on the apples. Because it's, in addition to it containing vitamin C, it also has the skin on it gives us additional fiber. Who doesn't need cleaning out? Okay. Very good. And one thing when you're mixing something, it's wiser to put it in something larger than, because you mix more than one ingredient. So you need to put it in something larger than what it is that you have it in. Okay, can you kind of be working that up, please, together? Everybody can use this one. This might work good together. Okay, while she's doing that, we're going to have Miss Taylor to mix up our other ingredients. Miss Taylor, can you bring me that cup of yogurt in front of you? Thank you. Oh, on this side. No, bring it over here on this side. No, just the yogurt. It says in the other bowl, it says combine the yogurt. Okay. So I want you to take this out and put it in there. I've been training her since she's been about 2 years old. She been asking if she could help in the kitchen. Oh, she just don't know. I'm a grandmama that believe in training children. Because I'm looking out for tomorrow. And when I'm working with children, and some of them say, well, I don't know how to cook. Or I don't do this in the kitchen. And I'm like, why not? Okay, so I make it, we try to make it interesting, and we try to let them know the importance of doing it, because everybody needs to know how to do it for themselves. Very good. And y'all see what she did. Now, if that was a metal, that might have been chipping that bowl if she had done it in a metal bowl, okay? Now, this is lemon juice. You can use an off brand, but in this case, we're using the real lemon, and it only calls for a teaspoon. Would you add that to that, please? And it also calls for a teaspoon of sugar. Did she put any sugar in hers? No. She did not. Okay. Add that. Okay. Very good. Now, where's that little? Can you mix that together for me? Just hold it with one hand. So you see, at 5 years old, they are not indispensable. They can learn. Because by the time she gets 10, she's going to be a pro. And I'll say, tell her, go wash the dishes. That's the plan. So don't be shy about teaching your children, you know, if they want to help. You thinking they're going to be in the way. They might, and it's going to take time. But I know my 80-plus-year-old mother-in-law, she's glad that she's around, because these are little things that she can do, you know, to help. And then she can also be a help to herself, because when she goes away to college, she don't have to worry about not knowing how to do at least a little something for herself. Did a great job. Thank you. Give Taylor a hand, please. Okay, now that we have added the lemon juice and the sugar to this yogurt, we're going to get Miss Yolanda to mix this up with our apples and our raisins. And our celery, and what is celery, a fruit or a vegetable? Vegetable. What nutrient do we get from eating vegetables? Anybody? Why do you eat vegetables? What does it do for your body? Everything that we eat, go ahead and be mixing that up. Everything that we eat serves a purpose as far as functioning in our body, whether it's something good or something bad, and you need to know. It's very important. Vegetables contain vitamin A. That's your main nutrient. I'm not telling you the other things they contain. The reason why that is important, because in addition to it makes you have healthy skin, it also helps your eyes to adjust from light to dark. Like if you're going in a movie theater, and y'all know how it is, we walking in there like we mummies or something trying to. That's what also helps that. When you have a cut or a scrape, it helps your skin to close and to heal. Just like this cut I got under my neck where I had major surgery to my spine, you can hardly tell, because the vitamin A that was in my body, it caused my skin to come back together and heal like it should. But it also contained fiber. Everything we need to do, like I said, we need to make sure we're getting in enough fiber, because fruits and vegetables, especially with the skin on it, it will help to clean your body out. It's like a broom. So whenever possible, leave the skin on your fruits and vegetables, so you don't have to go and buy anything in the drugstore or whatever else for your bowels to move if you're doing this naturally. It only takes a half a cup is considered a serving. We adults don't need but 2 servings a day, which is what? 1 cup. Children need 2 cups because they are growing, but we are already there. So we don't need as much as they do, because they burn theirs up. And I know if we could bottle up their energy, wow. You did a great job. Are you a professional cook? And see, for people that say, oh, I don't know how to cook, I can't cook. And once we go here, because I'm working in all the schools, and I said, well, and see, this is a non-cooking recipe, how you can take fruits and incorporate them into your daily menu, your daily diet, and this is something that the kids can do and still have fun at, don't you think? Okay. Ta-da! Would y'all do anything different? That was good. And doesn't it smell good? Y'all give them a hand. Okay, you can have a seat, Miss Taylor. Oh, excuse me. See, that's why you have a helper here. Look at what we did. I thought something was meant. Y'all should have told me. But no, that's exactly why you put everything out here. Because sometimes when you're doing a demonstration, that's exactly what happens. You leave out something. Now that would be a problem if that was a pound cake, though. And I left something out and then mixed everything up. Because sometimes you cannot go back and correct them. But everything serves a purpose. Even the nuts that is in this recipe, it gives us the protein, which is something that comes from the what food group? Nuts come from what food group? How about meat? Meat food group. Okay? So for people that are vegetarians and say they don't eat meat, or somebody that this is a meal in itself because it has at least 2 out of the 5 food groups. You have fruit in here, you have dairy in here, you have your meat in here, you have vegetables. So that's 4 out of the 5. The only thing that's missing is what? What food group? Grain. Okay, bread. And I don't think nobody have a problem not getting enough grain. In whatever form you get it in, rice, pasta, cereal. I don't think wheat or bread, nobody has a problem of getting that in. But we already have some mixed, and we would like for everyone to try. If you would like, try it. You may not, how many of y'all ever had Waldorf salad before? Okay.
I use the Granny Smith apple, which is kind of apt being as we're making Granny Smith down here. The reason we use the Granny Smith apple is because it has a denser fiber to it. If you use like the Red Delicious or the Macintosh, they're kind of bad apple in my bunch. It'll rot quicker than the Granny Smith will. If you leave it, when you dry it, you have to hang it up, not touching anything. And if it touches something, the spots where it touches might have a problem. Okay, now, here's one I peeled earlier. It's off of one of the Granny Smiths. I put a wire in it to hold it up in place. And there is no rules on what kind of face you can put on these things. If you know how to carve eyes and a nose and a mouth, that's all you need to know. Little kids, if you're going to do this, have Mama cut the face out for you, okay? And it's not hard to do. You have to have 2 eyes. And get snack. Very regular hobby this is. But I'll cut 2 eyes out. You're going to cut a little bit for where the cheek goes. More snack. Going to cut down below where you want the nose to go, because the nose has to be further out than anything else, yes? The cheeks and the nose and a little bit of the mouth are out further than the rest of the face. So you have to make a judgment on that. You cut a little place under where the nose goes. Make his eyes a little deeper. Do a little trim. Shape the nose a little bit. And then you can cut just a big cut right there where the mouth is going to go. And you've got a face. Now, if you really go crazy, you can go around the sides and make ears. You can make his mouth mouth, have a tongue hanging out, you can do all kinds of stuff. Just the way you carve a pumpkin, you can carve a face. Now, these right here, this is just peeled today. This was a week ago. This is 3 weeks ago. So you see it shrinks right down. Now this one I had sitting up with a fan blowing on, which makes it shrink down a little bit faster. You can put them in the oven, but if you put them in the oven, which is usually around 200 degrees, it's going to take 12 hours plus an overnight before it's dried enough where you can use it. Okay? Now, once you have your face, once you have your head proper, you're going to have to make it look like something or somebody. Sometimes you have pieces that are on there that don't quite fit in the right way. And if you do that, get a pair of scissors, you can cut them bumps right off of it. It's just dried apple. That's all it is. So if it's not quite there, you can cut it off, glue it someplace else, and you can make your face that way. Now, I've got, for the eyes, I have black-eyed peas. Okay? The one problem with black-eyed peas is if you put these in the apple while it's still fresh, they're going to swell up and grow, and you don't want that. You don't want your eyes having little green things coming out of them. Okay? We don't want that. So you pick a couple of black-eyed peas that are roughly the same size. A little bit of glue. Elmer's glue is good. I just happen to have this one in the house. Put the glue in where the eyes go. She says. It's kind of weird like that now. Okay, so we're going to put the black-eyed peas in there. Now he's looking at you. Now, if you really want to go crazy, on top of that, use rice, little short grain rice, and glue it right in where his mouth is, and he'll have teeth. Okay? You can either stand them straight up, or you can put them sideways. Doesn't matter. You can have one row, you can have 2 rows. And then he's grinning at you, just like that. My kitchen looks crazy when I have these all drying because I used to have them on a broomstick above my stove so the heat from my stove could go up and dry them. But whenever you hit the cupboard, they'd sit there and go like this. On his head. Okay, so that's his face. Now once you get your head together, so to speak, you're going to need some wire. Now I use this kind of, this is just electrical fence wire because it bends real easy. But you can use an old hanger. If you've got some wire cutters, you can cut a hanger to the right size and it works just as well. It's a bit more stiff, but it works really good. And then what you do with that, you take it, you use 5 different lengths of the apple head that you have. You take the head, you push the wire through it. I don't know if you can see that. Try to get it as straight as you can so it comes out at the bottom, like that, the proper way. There we go. There, and he's got legs. All right, that's your apple's legs. Okay, I'm going to give him a little twist so he has a neck. You take another wire, about that long, and you're going to make his arms in. You're going to try to even it up. You're going to wrap one around this way so it sticks. Wrap this one around this way, and then you're going to, the part that's going to be the legs, you got his arms here, right? Arms, body, legs. To keep the arms from sliding down, which they will tend to do, a little bend right there, right under that arm. It goes down like that, a little bit extra wide. And then you're going to twist under that again, a couple times. And that'll hold his body together. Yes? Okay, can you see that? Got my little wires all on there? Now, one of the problems that you'll have if you leave the arms straight out like this and the legs straight out like that is that when you put the body on, that wire's going to poke. And you don't want it to do that. So you take the ends and you bend them back, you fold them down, so you don't have a pointy piece sticking out. You do that to the hands, you do that to the feet. Nothing worse than picking him up and having him poke the devil out of your fingers. Alright, there you got a little body on your little applehead. Now you can't go around with a little applehead skeleton, so you need to put his body on him. His feet done. Okay. Now I've got a pattern back there in that little packet that has his body. It's just a couple pieces of felt. You can get them at Walmart, I think. The little 12-inch squares of felt. Cut his body out. Now you're going to need to have a needle and thread so you can sew this together. But you can cut his body out, and there's his body. But if you look, it's kind of floppy, and there's nothing between the wire and the felt. So you're going to need a little bit of polyfill and some thread. Oh, I did bring my needle. Take his body and just wrap the polyfill around. See? And you just continue until you have him all covered up. And then you're going to take the thread and wrap the polyfill to hold it in place. Because you need it held in place while you sew the body on. And you're going to take one piece of this and put it on the top, one piece behind it, and then you're going to stitch it just along the edges. You can either overcast stitch it, or you can do a running stitch. In and out, in and out, in and out, all the way around. Doesn't have to be pretty. The more rough these things look, the more authentic they are. Okay? You get really into there where you got fingers on the hands and everything, that's somebody who's got too much time. Okay? Because these were made for children, say like at Christmas time, when Mama didn't have much else to do, it was late in the evening, her kids needed Christmas presents, and they wanted to play with baby dolls, and you could make one. Okay? After you have his body on him, then you're going to make his clothes. This is Grandpa here. His pants are made out of the cut-off bottom of a pair of jeans. That's why they look all raggedy down the bottom, because whoever it was that had the jeans, it was kind of raggedy. Got his little cup, which is just a bead with a wire through it. Put a little bit of fluff on his head to cover up the top of the apple, because if you look, the top of that apple is still there. A little fluff can cover that up, a little bit of fluff around there, and there's Grandpa drinking his coffee. And the wires are bendable enough to where you can pose him anywhere and set him anywhere. And Granny Smith here, she's got a little dress, pattern's in that little packet, little apron, little slip, little bloomers. And the fabric that I used is just like one of those sample upholstery things. And you just get a little piece of, you know those little squares that people give away, and that's all that is. You don't have to go out of your way for any of it. I think the first one I did, I ripped up an old pillow to get the fluff out of the middle of it. You can do it any seasons. You've got Santa Claus here. You make an apple tree with Santa Claus all over it. And if you're going out all for Halloween, you want to get wicked, you can make dried apple head like that. Okay. A little bit extra weave, few earrings stuffed in there. Tie the lips so we don't talk back. But in fact, I had one hanging in my car one time, and somebody said, "Well, what's that?" And I said, "That's my old boyfriend." What can you do? One of the things you have to remember that we live here in South Carolina, and moisture is a problem. Bugs are a problem. So if you're going to make these to last, then you're going to have to preserve them. To keep the bugs out, you use sulfur. You just hollow out the top of the head, and you put the sulfur in it, and then you take, if you're going all out, you use shellac or varnish, and you varnish the whole thing. If you're cheap like me, you just use fingernail polish, the clear kind, or like this, just something to cover it, to seal it up, to keep things from getting in it. And you have to cover the entire thing. Can't leave a spot. That's just that little spot for things to get in. And let me see what else I did. Oh yeah. They have a tendency when you peel an apple to go brown. Have you noticed that? That you leave it out in the air. Lemon juice will keep it from doing that. So you want to seal it up with, dip it in lemon juice after you're finished working on it before it dries, so that it doesn't go dark. Because after 10 years, they will go black. They will have the black skin after 10 years. But up until that time, they'll be light. Unless you want them to go dark and, on pants. Okay? So let's see. So that's the apples. You peel them. You dry them. You put the wires in them. You dress them. You put them up, and everybody thinks you're clever. Any questions? All right. Now, when you get done and you've got all those apple peels, sprinkle some sugar and cinnamon on them, and I'll get you some cheese. Okay, I'm good.
Well, we're learning that apples are tasty, they're healthful, and you're very crafty, too. Well, we have...
I need a brainwash. Bring it down to my toes. I need a brainwash. In and out, 'cause I need a B-I-A-I-N double wash. Brainwash. From my head to my soul. I need a brainwash. Bring it down to my toes. I need a brainwash. In and out, 'cause I need a B-I-A-I-N double wash. Straight to the goals of rock, the traditional. Kind to keep it real life. I need a cycle. This is information. Smoking on conditions. I need a turnaround. The first way to get down.
Okay.